Greetings. Welcome to our beautiful, powerful women show. My name is Ruth, and I'm excited to share with you another amazing guest. She is a life coach, an amazing mother, amazing wife, an amazing author. She's just fun, and full of wisdom. Okay, let me just go and share her with you. Her name is Bradshaw.
Hi,
Charity.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
I'm good. Charity, I know some of your stories, but it's always good to just share your stories to others. You know, there's a lot of people here, not here only in the Philippines, but around the world, Let's start with, being a child of a divorced parents, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how does that actually, how does that feel? And how can you get out of that feeling?
Well, one of the things for me was my parents' divorce took place when I was an adult. I was 22, so barely an adult. But it still hurt nonetheless.
Right.
And also, I would say it might have even hurt more because I was really aware of what was going on. Mm-hmm. I could understand all the stories and all the things that were happening. And so that awareness was, a lot to carry.
Right.
I was the oldest, and I found out first, and they were sitting there going, don't tell your sisters. Well, of course I have to tell my sisters. I can't keep that from them.
Right.
But it affected me in several ways. Number one, I didn't ever want to be relying upon a man. Ever.
Wow.
Never going to be relying upon a man. And that was a dangerous
vow.
Place. Yes,
Yeah.
a dangerous vow, because there was something that God needed to work out in me. And whenever he did bring my husband to me, I was like, not even really interested. I was like, I don't need to be married. I've seen what marriage does to people, and I don't want that. And of course, then he just brought a really, really wonderful man, making it really hard to keep my vow of never going to be relying upon a man. And right before we got married was not when 9/11 happened, and that really obviously devastated. So right after 9/11 was when we basically started dating each other, and then we got married that following May. And what had happened at that time was, I was going to be transferring to Nashville with a company. I was working for Nordstrom, a wonderful company.
Yeah.
I was going to move up to Nashville with their new store. They stopped all growth, everything halted in America.
Wow.
But here I was already set to move, and my husband was going to move with me. And then I, with a college degree, with like all these number one in sales, posters behind my name, cannot find a job in Nashville to save my life. Wow. And my husband, with no degree and with like pizza delivery experience at that point, comes up and gets a job in 4 days. And it was a 2-year humbling learning experience that one man didn't equal all men.
Right.
That what my dad did wasn't going to be what every man did. And it was a humbling experience because I went through building a company that didn't end up growing. I'm an entrepreneur. Like, I love building things, and this particular company never really got off the ground. And so I was working 3 jobs. I was cleaning apartments, hostessing, waiting tables, and then at one point I shifted to my own business, doing all this work, and it was just literally seemed like nowhere.
Right.
And through all of that, what God was showing me was that the relationship that I had with my husband was one that I could trust.
Wow.
And one that I could build on. And my husband is also a child of divorce.
Wow.
We've totaled up, I think, over 9 divorces between our 2 immediate family.
Mm.
That's not even counting like other extracurricular relationships.
Right.
And so we both entered into marriage very sober and very aware of what could happen. And in fact, we wrote a book about it. It's going to be coming out early next year. Very excited.
Yeah.
But our heart is for people, understanding that marriage is it's 2 people, it's 2 people coming together, and you have to put God in the middle of that, or it will not work. And you can't put God-sized expectations on another human being.
Right.
And without God, you're putting everything, all the pressure, all
on
of the provision, on each other, and it will not work. And I know you said I'm an amazing wife, but really I'm just an average person. I'm a normal person. I've got my quirks. The reason I'm saying that is because I don't want anybody to feel like I'm anything different than them. I don't want you to feel like there's something magical about me or different, or that I've got something that you can't have.
That's
Marriage,
right.
love, those kind of things are very attainable.
Right.
And they do come at a price. They come at a price of working and a lot of communication. Oh Can we talk about islands and islands worth of forgiveness?
That's true. At one time, I told my husband, you know what? You have taught me really how to forgive. And you know what he said? You see, you have to thank me.
Yes. He's like, you're welcome.
You're welcome. So being, how did you get out of that, like, feeling? Because when you're in that situation, I feel like a lot of these kids would think that it's their fault when mom and dad separated, or what is it that was with you?
I didn't feel at fault because there were relationship issues,
right?
And my dad, turns out he likes men. He doesn't like women.
Sure.
So that has nothing to do with me.
Right.
And so thankfully I didn't feel that guilt. What I did feel, and maybe this is speaking to some of you out there,
right.
I felt like the love that made me broke. So then I was like, am I broke? Because the love that created me didn't last or didn't make it. So then I was like, I felt like I lost part of my identity because what made me was no more.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So that was something that I had to work through. And I also had to work through trusting any other, because my dad was also a pastor.
Right.
And so you have not only that he was my dad, but that he was also my pastor. So then I had trouble for years trusting pastors, especially male pastors, going, do you cheat on your wife? Do you do this?
And that's right.
And just all that, it took a long time to trust, and it was a process, and I'm thankful that not only God walked me through it, but my husband was able to walk me through it, and not projecting those things onto my kids, and not making that stuff trickle down into their lives, and stopping that generational curse of broken and fragmented relationships.
So how do you encourage then, like young generations right now to really just come out of whatever it is? It's not really what their parents are about, but it's who they really are. I mean, you're so good in talking about purposes and how to get out of there, and you having your tools on your own to be. Please.
Well, I think one of the biggest things that it can get very easy to be lost in your circumstances, and to dwell and be surrounded by your circumstances, and it's when you begin to live outside of your own pain, and pursue things outside of your own pain. There's always somebody in more pain than you, and not that it's a contest, but it's about finding and serving and giving of yourself to people that helps literally dig you out of that pain, sort of like a spiraling that you do when you're in, like I didn't know at the time I was depressed. I had no idea what depression was. I went through 6 weeks of not sleeping and just being like, my mind was so tired, and that's not a time to make decisions. That's a time to start getting yourself help, getting yourself healed. I mean, I'm a big proponent of getting counseling, Christian counseling, and also it's not just about adding a bunch of stuff, it's also about taking out some of the negative stuff. I was very conscious that the music I was listening to was affecting my mood, and my mood wanted to be fed that negativity and that sadness, and it wanted that
misery.
Music. Yes, misery loves company, and that sadness wanted that music, and I had to say, for the sake of my soul, for the sake of my mindset, I need to turn the music off and turn on worship music, and you need to be involved in your church. And if you don't have a local church, you need to get with Ruth. She knows everybody here. Find a local church. Number one, that can pour into you, but that you can then in turn pour of yourself and give of yourself. Because God does say it is more blessed to give than receive. And that's blessing. It is more blessed to give. And we often think that it's just pouring out, but really in that position of giving of yourself is when you feel the most full, the most whole.
The joy.
Yes, the joy.
It just overflows. So when you had nothing, and then of course, all your pride has to go crushed, right? How did you start all over? How did that look like?
Well, I would say that I'm a person that has been reinvented several times.
Wow.
9
lives like the cats.
Well, I just don't think that there's ever a time when we're done growing.
That's true.
I'm a firm believer in learning. That's why I write books, because books have changed my life, and learning has changed my life. It's changed my mind, my thinking, and if you can change your mind, you can change just about everything about yourself, which is pretty powerful. And so I find that if I know some place that I want to go in my life, whether it's a health goal, whether it's a business goal, whether it's just a learning goal, I learn about it. I literally just start absorbing information, like social media. I mean, you know now so much more about social media than you did a year ago. Maybe you didn't want to know it all, but now you do. But it's that learning, and so now you know how to use that tool to reach the people here in the Philippines. What a powerful tool. And so it's about learning in those things and around those things where you want to go. And a lot of us are one habit away from whatever we want. One habit. If we just change something, we can attain what we actually want.
That's a very good. Very good point. When a person can always feel like they're stuck somewhere. Mm-hmm. So how would you, no, I can't. I just can't. I mean, how are you going to go and tell this person, you know what, you can?
You can do anything you think you can.
Thank you. But
it's not a freebie. It's not a freebie. You can do anything you think you can. Mm-hmm. And I have experienced that in my life. I've watched it happen in friends' lives. And it's often when we give up on ourselves or give up on our ability to change, that's when we're saying, this is as far as I'm going to get.
Right.
Like I've literally had conversations with people going, so what do you think your 5-year plan is? Or what's life going to look like next year? And they're like, I don't know. Yeah. And I'm like, do you not think, I lie awake thinking about this. Like, what is next year going to be like? What is the year after that going to be like? Because I just love to see things expand and to grow and to believe that today is your best day that's ever going to be.
That's right.
That's a sad way to live. To me, today is always the worst day of my life. It's only going to get better, and it really, and I'm not saying that today's a bad day. Mm-hmm. I just believe tomorrow's going to always be better because I'm still investing in myself. Right. I'm investing in my friends. I'm investing in my community. Mm-hmm. I'm pouring out. I'm giving of my gifts. I'm giving of myself. Mm-hmm. And in exchange, I'm willing to receive those. Being here, Ruth, this has been such a treat. Thank you so much for inviting me here. Even just being in this hotel and in this beautiful city has been just, I'm a mom. I work from home. I'm covered in kids and laundry. You know what I mean? I'm a real person. And then you think, how can a person like that be up on stage? Or, you think a person on stage never does laundry. It's like, I do laundry about 5 days a week, I do dishes almost every day. I cook meals. I'm a short order cook. I'm a real person, I'm a real mom. Yes, and I live real life. And most days I'm in workout clothes with my hair in a ponytail and no makeup on because I'm getting stuff done.
Right.
And if that's you, if you feel like you are just like doing the daily grind and you don't know there's anything else, you're one habit away. What is that habit? Is it taking better care of yourself? Is it enrolling in a class? Is it going to a conference? Is it being around positive people? Sometimes editing your friends list is the best thing you can do for your future. If you're surrounded by people that are constantly like, no, stay here. Negative. It's comfortable right here. Mm-hmm. Even people that don't that aren't negative, but they're just like, oh, this feels good, right? Uh-huh. I always say that comfort zones are where dreams go to die.
I know. Yep.
If it's comfortable, it's your enemy.
That's right.
It really is. It's the enemy of your future, the enemy of your destiny. Right. And a lot of us get too comfortable. Mm-hmm. The daily routine is comfortable for you. Getting up, doing the same thing is comfortable. Of course it's comfortable. Change is what causes us to experience a little bit of pain. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you, when you reframe pain, and I mean positive, like growth pain, like when you're doing those curls or your Tai Chi or whatever it is that you're doing, when you're doing your workouts, there is some physical pain involved. When you're doing your planks or those kind of things. But when you learn what that pain is producing in your life, it's when you begin to appreciate the pain and not always push it away. We want to push away pain, but pain is one of the greatest instigators of change in our lives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. How about...
We can stop now, right?
There's just so much.
Let's take an offering.
Let's talk about this young adult.
Yeah.
Okay, because you 22 and then all of a sudden your life was completely berserk. Mm-hmm. Looking back, and then fast forwarding your life, what is the main thing that you would want to take out of that and give it to the young adults right now? Because there's a lot of people that really do not know their identity. Mm-hmm. Even if they are young adults, they think that they're so high and mighty already. I know it all, and I'll just bury myself finding what kind of career I need to take. But honestly, the simplest thing that they have to know is what?
I would say for me, purpose for sure. But I think backing up a step from that, if I could go back and tell myself anything at 22 years old, number one, it'd be stop being so hard on yourself. I was super, super critical, hypercritical of myself, and also hypercritical of others. And do you know what that does when you're trying to, be a Christian and be Jesus? When you're a critical person, it's not attractive. Nobody wants to be around it, right?